So, good evening, everyone. I think there's a few of you in here now, which is good news. Nice to see you getting involved in the chat already. So let's have I've got the chat on the screen there as well, so let's get that up so I can read. Cool. So, good evening, everyone. Don't forget, if you're first time here on my YouTube channel, don't forget to click that subscribe button so you can be notified of the upcoming videos. Still punching out 3 a week at the moment, so it's catching up with me now. I'm getting tired, but it's all good fun. I'm really enjoying it. Still got maybe 15 to release and start to see a whole different format with it. But the live feeds are something that people enjoy on the Facebook forum, but trying to get them over here onto the YouTube platform. So it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. And obviously we'll get through some of your questions if you have any questions. Can you hear me? Can you see me as well? So someone punch that in the chat for me. Let me know what's going on, how the quality is for your end, and then we'll go from there. There'll be no Ray tonight. Ray's devastated. He was a little bit annoyed that I had called this one in, but I've just finished a workshop today in Harlow, in the local area. Not a huge class. It was a small class, but there was a lot of discussion and questions being asked for us to go through and understand mediumship. And I think that's where a lot of development can be gained, through the understanding, through the knowledge of what's going on in your mediumship and how mediumship works, etc., etc. So I don't know how I'm going to run this chat. Really need to get some administrators on board with this and help me out with the chat and highlight certain bits. But it's a learning process. You're all here to help and have your input. And I can't stress enough that if you are thinking about a question, it's really, really worth asking, because other people are probably thinking it or have thought it, and they're just too scared to ask themselves. So make sure that you think of a question and get involved with the live feed. So I do have to do the plugs. You know how it is with this type of thing. So I am local to Colchester on April the 19th. There was a flyer on the hold screen for you, and that is on April the 19th, and you can contact me via Facebook on the Facebook page. But all the events are on Eventbrite, so if you punch in Eventbrite, you will find me there under Medium Charlie Kelly. The trance workshop for June has just got ridiculously busy. So I only have a couple of spaces left for that now, and then I'm shutting the door on that one. And then you'll have to wait till next year if you want to remain local, or go down to the school at Earlshamstar, earlshamstar.co.uk, where you'll find me and Sheila teaching trance on a regular basis down there as well. So yeah, it's a couple of spaces left. The dates for that are June the 23rd and 24th. And then my next mental mediumship, so like today's class, which I think they all enjoyed, is on July the 21st. And there's enough spaces on that. I've done no publicity for that one yet. So it's all about pumping it out on here tonight and filling that up in due course. So July the 21st for mediumship. All classes are open to all levels. So you haven't got to worry. And I had a complete beginner in the class today. It's a shame he's not on, because he would get involved on the live feed, I think, because he was petrified of the spirit world through misunderstanding or bad teachings that he's had before. So it was nice to have someone in the class that leaves with a slightly better understanding and no fear of the spirit world, which is ultimately what I'm trying to achieve there. So it was good today. I enjoyed today. And then, believe it or not, I can't believe I'm having to plug this, but I'm going to anyway. The 2019 mentorship. Um, I had a little bit of time, and so I thought I better get it out there and let people know what's going on and see what's happening with the mentorship, where it's going and what I'm doing. Let's just see the interest. I don't know if I'm going to run it. My diary's a little bit busy, and I'm really struggling to fit life in amongst my diary. So let's get a feel for the mentorship for next year. And I'm down to 2 places for next year already. And I shut the door at a very low number on that one for the intensity of it. So I have a few spaces left. That is it. So if you are interested and you want more information, you can contact me on here. But most of that will be done through the Facebook page, Medium Charlie Kelly. Good evening, Amanda, who's just jumped on. Actually, Amanda's part of this year's mentorship, and so I'm sure she will say nice things about it for me. I thought she was at a demonstration tonight, so I don't know if it's a bad one, and she's got her phone out and texting at a dem. I'm not sure. I'm certain she was at a demonstration tonight. Anyway, not to worry. So that's the plugs done and out the way. So that's good news. It's awful doing the plugs. I'm not a big fan of selling myself in that way. So who have we got in? We've got Rachel in. So Rachel says hi. Selena says hi. So I'm trying to read that. So Rachel, will you be able to talk a bit more about the theta states and how to recognize when you are in them, please? Yeah, definitely. Of course I can. Really enjoy watching your videos. Thank you. Can hear and see you fine. Glad you're enjoying the videos there, Selena. That's always good to hear. And then Amanda saying hi. So remember, get your questions in. Charlene, hi Charlene. Obviously haven't had that baby yet, so nice to see you on. So let's answer Rachel's question. So I will need your questions if you want me on here longer tonight. So you are part of the live feed. It is it's all down to you and how it works, etc., etc. So get your questions in, and we can go from there. So to answer Rachel's question, so it's all this boom gets in my way. So it's all in the mindset. So as I work with the mind, and the camera's the other way, it's a little bit weird looking at it on screen. So I'm in my beta state. So you've got the alpha, beta, theta, delta state. And in the beta state, you will be very aware. You know, everything's going on, and you're running your daily thing. You know, you're doing your life. You're having life. And then as we move our mind, as we develop, this may be through like a meditation, some nice soothing music in the background, that kind of thing. You know, will alter the state. It will just move our mind slightly into an altered state, and the more altered it becomes, the more relaxed we become, the more our mind doesn't need to be operating all the chaos within our everyday, because we're taking moments to look at ourselves, to help ourselves, and that will gradually just move into the theta state, and in that theta state you will find things like your trance work. Your trance work will start to appear and be more present. So have you put that there? Yeah, so theta going into the delta state, which will be sleep. So you'll be you'll be asleep. You'll just be asleep in that state of mind. When you're trying to understand your alpha, beta, theta, delta states, you can't monitor it. You can't sit there and actively work where you are. You have to kind of go there and do sorry, do your meditation, or practice the discipline of stilling that mind. And within that practice, you will come back to normality, say, and you will analyze what it felt like. You will analyze what was going on. You will look at everything that you were doing, and through this analysis, you will recognize that when I get to that theta state, so I'm trying to head towards the trance states there, you will recognize that at one point when you come back to normality, you're not going anywhere. It's just your mind is handing over as such. When you recognize that, that's done in the conscious state. So you're back in the alpha beta state. You know, you're back in normality, and you will recognize it. If you're analyzing it while you're trying to go through the gears of the mind, you won't ever achieve the trance state, because you're analyzing the states that you're going through. And if you're analyzing, if you're analyzing, it means that you're very present. It means that you're there, and you're looking all the time. So therefore, it can't. Not that you can't. You just won't achieve the trance state that you're looking for. So it's one of those that you actually learn the technique, or you put in place the technique for the altered states, while very much in the conscious state, in the alpha beta state, while you're very much active of mind. So it's a process, you know, one that you need to sort of understand the mechanic with that, and through that mechanic, you will learn as you go through these altered states, and recognize the altered states when you go back and look at it, because you can go back and look at it because it goes through your mind, and you've got that imprint within the mind there, that you can then revisit that through the memory of how did that feel and what was going on in that process, helping you each time go that little bit further, being able to understand it a little bit more, giving you a much greater understanding of how you and your mind works. And I see many who asked that? Rachel Helen. I think I met you at Hampton. Can't be sure. I think I met you at Hampton. I meet so many people. My apologies if I've got that wrong. But well, I don't know about you, but I do in my spare time. I'm watching mediums, and I'm looking at my own mediumship and developing my own mediumship. That there will be times that I'll be on Facebook, for example, and there'll be a live feed, and there will be so-called trance going on there, and I think it's just more of imagination or delusion, maybe some of the time, and some okay trance. I just think it's a lack of understanding on where their development is, or what their teaching was, and where their foundations are formed. It's just one of those that I think you learn and get better and better with over time, the more and more you look at it. So hope that answers you there, Rachel. If not, then elaborate a little bit more on another area, and we'll go over it again. You was at Hampton, yeah, cool. I do remember you. So Amanda says she pulled a sickie to watch the live feed. So then you've got to really engage with the live feed. Then I'm afraid, then Amanda. So maybe ask a question. Maybe ask a question that went on in the workshop today. That will maybe prompt your mind, or a question that you remember from the workshop today, and maybe that can help some people with what's going on. So Kerry's jumps on. Kerry was on the workshop today, so So, hi Charlie, thank you for today. Brilliant mediumship class. Won't be listening tonight as I won't have anything to listen to at work. So cool. Maybe drop a question before you disappear. That would be nice for me to go on and talk about something in that area. Seems funny without having Ray here, doesn't it? I don't know about you lot, but it seems a little bit strange without him being there. So little bit weird for me right now. But as I said, I just jumped on. I had some time available, got everything done, and the class went well. And thought, well, I might as well jump on and do a live feed. So a brilliant day. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Kerry. I hope you'll be back again, and hope you talk about it on Facebook, etc. You know, with your experience of what had gone on there. So this mic's doing my head in as well. Oh, should really do all this before I come online, really. But is Ray not watching? No, Ray's at his nephew's party or something. He sent me a quick message on the phone to say, I can't make it, you'll have to reschedule it. You're not allowed to do the live feed without me being there. So I found it rather amusing that that we've done that. So we're going to have a fantastic night to really rub his nose in it a little bit and go from there. We'll Yeah, oh yeah, birthday. There you go. So, do you think doing Reiki would strengthen my abilities? Um, I don't think it'll weaken it if that's if you're worried about doing that. I'm not sure if I asked you about your other philosophies today in the classroom. But Reiki, I don't think it's a different it's a different mechanic altogether. So I really don't think it will hinder it in any way. I know Reiki is universal energy, and it's a healing tool, symbology as well. So the symbols may work for you within your mediumship, your mental mediumship, if you're picking that up along the way as well. So I can't see it doing any harm. So it's well worth bringing it into your mediumship, especially if you're already doing it. It's not something I would say step away from or don't do it anymore because it's going to ruin your mediumship. I'm just not one of those kind of teachers, in all honesty. Maybe backed up a little bit too close to this wall, sorry. And I've been standing and sitting all day long, so one of those, innit? So my own fault. So Helen says, yes, thanks. I was trying earlier and felt like I was getting there. Felt really relaxed and just before falling, just before falling to sleep. Thanks for explaining, though. It does help. And that's exactly what you're trying to do there, Rachel. You're trying to. My legs are killing me as well. I was up. I can talk to you about it in a minute, actually. In Lake Como. So Rachel, and for everyone that's trying to learn how to do entrancement and trying to get that quality trance through, it's not about talking from beings, like channeling. A lot of people hear about it as channeling and talking from planet Zog, and telling us how us humans are getting it so wrong and all that kind of stuff. I think that the quality of the trance will be in the spoken word, and when it seems to have tremendous impact on the classroom or the sitter, it will always show its intelligence and it will be of quality. And unfortunately, we don't see too much of that. I see a lot of fear being promoted through the trance states. But it's one of those, isn't it? It's my opinion, and a lot of people will disagree, especially those that are channeling from Planet Zog and promoting fear and talking about all the things that you need to protect yourself from, because you might get lost in some hole or be taken over and murdered and killed by the spirit world, which is completely insane in my opinion. But it's out there, and so that's why the channel's here and the videos are going out very regular, so I can try to educate from a much lighter side and a much more logical side and intelligent side. But we'll see how it goes, and if it continues to grow, then I'll continue to put time and effort and my own money into it in that sense. But I'm enjoying it at the moment, and I'm sure there'll be lots more spoken about on the trance states. But the falling asleep aspect is something that you're trying to develop against. So you're trying to go through the altered states, and as we go through the altered states, and before we get to sleep, we've got that point where we need to apply the brakes and stop. And in that zone there, it is where you're trying to develop. That's what the development is. So we move in and we stop, and we hold that moment there, and that is where you'll find your quality trance. So I like the question there, Rachel, and thank you for again elaborating there. So do you or did you at the beginning use tools? So who asked that? That's Selena. So thanks for your question, Selena. And it also helps the channel when you lot engage, because YouTube algorithm sees that you're engaging, which helps me a lot to get in the suggested. So thanks for getting involved. And a great question, and one that it come up in the classroom today. So do you or did you at the beginning use tools? So at first, the development for the training of mediumship, whether it be psychic work or mental mediumship, we tend to go through the awareness kind of stage, don't we? So we go to an awareness circle where you learn to protect and open and close and all that kind of stuff, which now I realise I wasted a lot of money and a lot of time and effort in that area. However, that little experience for me was quite a magical one. It made me feel like it was good, and the spirit world was a place that I could look at later on and be working with in a joyful way. And then you learn how to maybe use inspiration, maybe do psychic readings from pen and paper or pictures or the surroundings of your room, and you can sort of pick up on what's going on, and you learn that these tools can be valuable in some instances, because sometimes you can't get your mind into gear, or you can't quite get up and running on the mediumship front. So immediately you can resort to some of the tools that you've developed yourself with, whether that be a pack of cards or ribbons or crystals or stones or runes. I mean, the list can go on and on, can't it? So in the beginning, I kind of encourage it if it's something that you're going to dabble in, and we're trying to pique your interest, and everything's a bit exciting, and you're looking to do more, and you're looking to understand you and your relationship with your own psyche, and with your spirit team or your spirit guides, and so you're trying to build this knowledge and understanding and this philosophy and this relationship that is forming, and the tools can help that. The tools can definitely help that. But what I see so much of, and what's kind of disastrous in some instances, is that I see a lot of bad teaching, a lot of bad habits, and a lot of time when I get to take a new student under my wing and try and introduce them into the classroom, there will be a lot of fear or a lot of misunderstanding, and through this misunderstanding, it's become part of their philosophy, and through that philosophy I've got to break it down and give them a new way and try this and maybe think about that, and through all of this process, this is like weeks that are ticking over. So tools are a good thing, but understand they're just a tool. You don't need the cards to read the cards. You can almost memorize the cards, and before you know it, you don't need the cards anymore. It's just one of those things. Some people find a comfort in it. They can offset the mind, and through the offset of the mind, they can put that responsibility or that understanding that they have with a spirit world or with a psychic reading in that tool. They can offset it within that tool there. So, so I dabbled, I played around with it, but then I realised where my passion was and what I wanted to do and where I wanted to take it, which meant I needed to understand the philosophy and the mechanics and the natural laws and the pioneers and the teaching. And then before you know it, I've got so much to sort of research and develop and educate myself with that I just stopped using tools or stopped having the time to use tools. So I hope that answers you there, Selena. Again, if not, then or you want more for me to elaborate there, then pop another question in at the bottom there. So hold on, I need to take a drink. I'm trying to stop myself from coughing. So I'll mute it so you don't hear me swallowing away. So give me 2 seconds. And we're back. So so Kerry says, cheers, Charlie. I done it to strengthen it. Yeah, that's it. It's absolutely fine. I think to strengthen your mediumship, Kerry, from what I saw today, and I don't really want to do a critique online in that sense. And obviously it's from a positive way, but it's all about strengthening the connection and deepening the evidence. And I think if you're looking to concentrate on platform mediumship and mental mediumship to do one-to-ones, then I would just focus with an understanding or a tutor or tutors that can really dial in on the the relationship that you have with the spirit world. Feel free to critique. I thought I enjoyed your mediumship. I liked your mediumship today, and I was prompting you a couple of times to maybe push it past the generic and firming up statements. You know, there's a lot of local people, and I can't remember where you live, but a lot of local people are not pushing for that nugget, for that vital bit of evidence that takes it from kind of generic to unique to the one individual that you're trying to communicate for there. And this is a course that everyone takes. You know, we're trying to find a tutor, a circle leader, so on and so forth. We're trying to find one that we're gaining something from, like in knowledge and understanding, but they're also pushing you enough so you come out of your comfort zone a little bit. So I'd maybe find something that can push you a little bit more rather than being comfortable and doing your mediumship that way. And I'm just one of those people where I can see improvement, then I'm gonna push for it a little bit more because I'm striving for that standard to be raised that we're seeing out there on the public platform at the moment. So, and I include myself in that. I'm constantly developing and looking at my own mediumship to be better week in, week out. So it's just it depends how much you want it, I suppose. And then from there, you put in the effort and you put in the hours and you put in the practice and the research and the understanding, and soon enough it starts to fall into place. So I'm glad you stuck around anyway, Kerry. So that's a good thing. So Sophie, missed you today in class, Sophie. We're gonna have to have a little bit of a discussion on when you decide to take holidays. I don't think you're allowed holidays when class times are on, so I'm joking with you. So hi from Devon. I hope it's beautiful down there. Make sure you make your way into Paynton. And if you're anywhere near the Barbican, there is a little cafe called Angels that do the best cream tea. So it's a tiny little place, but well worth hunting down. And if you do go in there, let them know I gave them a shout out on YouTube and that I should get a cream tea come my way for free next time I'm in the area. So, does the mind expand and travel? Does the mind expand and travel to receive information, or does it always stay in the same place? Does the mind expand and travel? So, I would say, I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question completely. I would say it 100% it expands. 100%. We need to expand the mind to allow the communication to happen. Does it travel? Is the bit that I'm kind of looking at there. Does it travel? And I'm trying to understand, knowing you, what travel means. So do I wander off to get that information? To be honest, I don't know how to answer that. I really don't know how to answer that, and that's so 100% it travels, expands, not travels. But I would say it travels in essence, doesn't it? Like I have to go to the spirit world. The spirit world have to come to me, and to receive that information. But I would say that the spirit world is in that one place. So I think any answer I give there will contradict what I'm trying to say. It's a really in-depth question, so you've clearly gave that some thought there, Sophie. And I'm really, really interested in why you asked that or where you got that question from. I'm really, really intrigued by that. So yeah, definitely. I'm going to say yes. The mind does travel and it does expand to receive the information. However, I stay in the same place. So physical human Charlie stays in the same place. The mind, the spirit, and the information and the communication travel and expand to pass that information on. So I love the question though, Sophie. I absolutely love it. So let me know what made you formulate that question. I'm intrigued. You have me intrigued. So, oh man, see all these screens. I've got to flick between so many screens to get this going. It's incredible. So I got up to there. There. So Carol's asking. Question in class today was how a communicator can come through two different mediums at the same time, giving evidence to two separate clients, which happened. Absolutely, of course it happened. The downside is I don't really have a way to demonstrate that on camera. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm looking around for props. What I'm doing, and I will kill you for that question. In that sense. So, how am I gonna do this? Terrible, isn't it? So, and I haven't got much scope with what's going on. So, and this camera is a nightmare to use because it's reversed. Everything's reversed. So that's my lighter. So clearly I'm a smoker. And that's the spirit world up there. And the normal. Hold on. I'm finding props as we do it. So this is me tearing my can of Coke apart. Sorry. And that's my earthly life right there. See that? That's a ring pole. And so if the spirit world are up there, if I held a light above that arc that would come from here down would encompass my entire life from start to finish because of the frequency that they are at. Yeah. So from that frequency, the medium here would have to connect to the spirit world and do that. However, that small place called Earth, that would still be there. Therefore, a medium in Australia at exactly the same time can connect to the same place while reading for two separate people. Let's use these two. There, these two from up in the sky. Let's see if I can tilt that down a little bit. So there and there. Dun, dun, dun. So from there and there, and the spirit world being up there, therefore being able to connect to both because of the arc that would cover it. So I hope that makes some sort of sense. Need a light or something like that. And you should know bloody better, Miss Brennan, knowing I use a light to do that explanation, and a shade and a map to demonstrate that in a classroom. So you're in trouble. To which she adds another one. So, which was only aware of after the communication. Maybe you could explain this again for others that don't understand the mechanics of this. So it's the spirit world is. I think the biggest mistake that we see in mediumship is that. Let me readjust that. Is that for some reason the people still think that they own a body. They own this physical vessel that we understand as our body, and they seem to think they still have a face, arms and legs, and that torso, and so they find it hard to comprehend from a human perspective that it's an energy, it's a consciousness, and because of this not being able to understand the consciousness, it's like they think they're off doing a job like a human would be. Maybe they're having a lay-in today. They're having a bed. They're in a bed, and they're having a nap. And people struggle to comprehend this idea that that there is this body that's just like lingering around in the ether, or standing somewhere else where they've got to go and earn a living or something like that. It's energy. I mean, you do any kind of sort of basic research, you'll see energy as energy. And so that the access point for that is that the frequency is so much higher than the physical density of the human. And so if we throw our mindset up to communicate or tap into that information, stroke communication, then it's at such a frequency that seems so far away or so high that from that vantage point, from that viewpoint, it will see our entire life in the flick of my fingers. That's a lifetime. And any half decent communication from the spirit world, it will always tell you how quick a lifetime is when they're over there, and that we don't understand that procedure as such. So I hope in some way I've answered that. Although I much prefer to demonstrate it with tools and lights, etc. So I'll maybe once I get my studio in place, which shouldn't be too much longer, I will have like a whiteboard or something where I can draw it, and show you a much more detailed explanation of that. So thank you for answering my question. People love a shout out, don't they? So it's and I kind of get that. I watch loads of people on YouTube, and so you are very welcome. But maybe I should thank you for offering a question, as that's the point of the live feed. So Rachel says, is the trance state what you go into when you are communicating with spirit on platforms or in sittings for individuals? It's not the trance state, and so for terminology reasons, we'll have to break that down a little bit. It is an altered state, and entrancement is an altered state, but anything other than your mind operating at a very high rate. So I'm driving my car, I'm doing my job, I'm looking after the family, I'm operating in my everyday natural state. So then I go, oh, do you know what? I need to chill out. I need to have a cup of tea. I just need to close my eyes for a minute, and I need to just circulate my breath a little bit. I just need to relax. And now I'm in an altered state. That's me in an altered state. And that altered state, what I'm trying to do is stop the chaos within my mind. And the more I stop that chaos within my mind, the more I stop diluting it with worries, or I need to do this and I need to do that. The more I stop that, the more space, I suppose, I allow within my mind. And that's where the entrancement will take place. So I can't remember the exact figures, but for the purpose of what I'm talking about, we run between 27 megahertz and 35 megahertz in the brain. This is how many thoughts we're having a second. And then if I take a breath and I just slow it all down, I'm operating at about 20. And as I take another breath, I'm operating at about 15. I'm in an altered state. I'm still talking to you guys here, but I'm just slowing everything down, and then I get to around that 13 mark. The 13 megahertz, or the thoughts that I'm having, and I kick into my mediumship. I kick into my mental mediumship, and as I move my mind there, as I move it in the direction of the spirit world, I'm aware of a man, and as I work with that man, I'm at 13. I'm at 13 thoughts or megahertz, right the way down to about 7 or 8 in that motion, and that's where the clarity of my mediumship will really pick up. The closer I am to that 7 and 8, the much more I'm with the spirit world. And so I just move my mind, and I'm still aware of the dad that joins me, and as I work with his dad, he's starting to draw me to his personality, and as I work with his personality, I'm starting to become aware of his passing and the things that he enjoyed doing as the man that he was here. And so I'm much closer to the 7, and then I tip over the 7 through training, through discipline, and I'm in an altered state, a very heavy altered state, and now I can begin my allowance of allowing the spirit world to blend much more with me and my mind, and allow that influence to take over. Going down to about 5, so between 7 and 5 megahertz is entrancement. Then you have sleep. And then you go right into the depths of comas, etc., from that point there. So I can't remember. I've got a jump screen, so my apologies. Can't remember who asked me that question there. So Rachel. So I hope again, Rachel, you're clearly looking into the trance states at the moment. That is, I hope I've answered that there for you. For that. More intense training of that, I would definitely recommend Urshamstar, urshamstar.co.uk. I'll get someone to punch the link in the bar for me. I'll give you the website that you can just jump onto and have a look at the trance courses that are offered there. To maybe, and even if you don't look at it now, it'll be something that you can look at later on. If you find the time, or you want to give it a little bit more in-depth look at and understanding and practice maybe, and that would be highly recommended because of the intensity and the training that you'll receive in the school at Urshamstar in Folkestone. So I'll get that in the link for you in a moment. So just keep an eye on the chat there. No problem at all. No problem. So that jumped. It's chat. Do you believe we go with our family when we go to the spirit world? Who asked that? Selena. Do you know, I'm a little bit on the fence on this one. If I'm completely honest, I'm a little bit on the fence because we will know of people, or certainly know of families that hate each other. That some people have maybe got like criminals within their family, and I don't mean criminals in the sense of doing to a little bit of shoplifting, but like maybe someone that's intentionally murdered someone. or things like that. And so I've done a lot of research, or certainly tried to find my own answers where natural law is concerned, so the spiritual and natural laws that happen. And so I think there would be um, um, I don't think you'll ever not be able to see your loved ones, or go and visit them, or go and be with them. And bear in mind, I'm a human like yourself. I know that's hard to believe sometimes, but I am human, and so I can only do it on what I have researched or looked into. But it sits comfortably with me that the natural law, in that essence, the personal responsibility and the compensation and retribution for all your good and bad deeds that you have done here, would suggest to me that that natural order of things wouldn't put me with the murderers of the world, and it wouldn't put me with the with whatever example, with that, being as that I try to be spiritual and I try to help people and I try to do that. So the natural balance there would not be quite right. However, I don't think you're doomed or damned nation. You know, it's like you've got the potential for eternal progress. There is a system, a natural system that you can um, um, rectify your mistakes that you may deem that you have done while you're here. I mean, who's the judge? Who's the juror? And we've all got this maybe this misconception through the religions of the world today, that there is someone sitting there casting judgment. And for me, it's just the natural law is perfect, and there's no escaping that law. I think it's a self-judging system. You did wrong, it's wrong. You did right, it's right. I think it's a very natural balance there. So I think you can go and see your loved ones. Do you reside with them? I'm not entirely sure. For me, I don't think what you consider your family here and now in the physical form, I'm not entirely sure will be your spiritual family when you go over. It just doesn't completely sit right with me in that sense. But you know, that's my opinion. I mean, feel free to completely disagree with me there, or have a completely different interpretation. And that goes for the rest of you. If there's a different viewpoint or a different angle there, feel free to drop that in the comments. You know, it's something that I do like. I love the engagement. I love seeing where you're coming from and what you think and what you believe and what's your truth. And even if you don't do that in the live, I publish this video to go out straight away. I don't edit it. It goes straight out to the channel, and maybe incorporate your comments at the bottom of that, where it's not so much on the live feed, but you still get to have that input there. So I'd be interested to hear other people's philosophies on that. It would be really interesting for me anyway, to see what you guys think and how you guys are approaching that. So yeah. So Amanda, another question from class. Why do we have an instant dislike to someone if we don't know them? Okay, so let me get a drink because my mouth is drying up, and it's a great stalling tactic as well. So give me a moment. I'm back. So why do we take an instant dislike to someone? There are many, 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 many reasons for this, but to maybe cover a couple of them. For me, there's a lot of don't know what that was. Flying over here at me. Where was I? Threw my mind completely there. A lot of reasons behind that will be a mirrored philosophy. So let's take Joe Bloggs as an example, and whenever I'm in Joe Bloggs' company, he just irritates me. He just annoys me. You know, his laugh annoys me, or the way he talks, or the way he constantly talks about himself, or he constantly looking in the mirror. You know, he's really vain, or whatever the reason. But there is something that just grates against me. It's actually not Joe Blogg's fault that you're getting annoyed. It's not Joe Blogg's issue as such, really. The irritation is within oneself. So that is annoying you. That is not Joe's fault. That's your fault. So what we do in this mirrored philosophy is that we need to maybe go within to ask ourselves, why does that man annoy me so much? Why does that man really grate against me? Why does he really frustrate me and really get me annoyed? And at looking at self, you will find a lot of, not flaws, but you'll find a lot of things that you understand more about yourself, because you're having this self-reflective. Why is that annoying me? So it's not Joe's fault that you're annoyed. You're annoyed because there's something in that person that annoys you. Why does it annoy you? Look at it, and you will start to fix yourself in the development. That's just one angle. You know, there are other angles that some people just don't see it in themselves. You know, maybe they only ever talk about themselves. Maybe they only ever they think they're the greatest thing on earth. Maybe they're me, and this just irritates you in some way, that it just frustrates you, and I'm bad enough, and I can't be in that person's company anymore. Again, I would say look inside. What's that issue about? There's something there that grates you. But equally, you're not gonna get on with everyone anyway, are you? I mean, there are some people that just seem to have lots and lots of friends, and there's others that are quite happy with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 friends. You know, um, a close knit circle of people that they're happy with. Everyone's on the same wavelength, so on and so forth. Some people may live a completely different kind of lifestyle, and it just annoys you. It just gets on your nerves from that. I would say the majority of the time there's something within you that needs looking at, and other times it's just one of those things that that person is so annoying that there's just nothing you can do. You kind of need to highlight it in their being, in their personality, and then that's blunt or brutal or a little bit unfair to be so strong with the words um, in that moment. It's just, maybe it's a little bit unfair. So they've all got their story, and what we're trying to do as a spiritual journey, and I don't mean spiritualism or becoming a medium. I mean just in the general spiritual context. Every single person, especially here, you know, the people that I have on the feed here, every single one of you have your own account. You have your own journey, and you will do things that will protect you from that. So some of you may be embarrassed of who you are. Some of you may not like being around other people. Some of you may laugh a lot, but actually inside you're dying. You're breaking. Your heart is inconsolable, and I think it's not really my place to start judging everyone and everything, because I don't know their story and I don't know why they act in that way. And so you develop a tolerance, you develop a way that you're still going to get wound up, you're still going to be a little bit, you know, annoyed, and it's still going to grate, but as time grows and as you move forward in your journey, in your spiritual journey, you learn to react differently. You learn to not give that power away. You know, they're annoying me, and that irritates you. And now you've got the ump, and now I'm snappy. Now I'm biting at everyone. When really, you don't want to be doing that. And make no mistake, I don't get this right by any means. I know what I need to do. I can't always achieve it because I get annoyed, I get angry, I get upset, I get emotionally attached. And through this process, I literally say, there's the power to wind me up for the rest of the day. Off you go on, do your best, irritate me, and then ruin my day. And they'll just go about their day being their own annoying self. You know, it's one of those. Um, yeah, it's progress. I'm afraid we've got to sort of work through it. Thank you. I know you love the challenge. Well explained. Cool. Thanks for that, Carol. Okay, so it's about the mind being separate to the brain. All right, Sophie's got back. Right, so it's about the mind being separate to the brain. Can we ever bypass the filter of our minds by taking it somewhere else? Hard to explain what I mean by typing. And I know what you mean by trying to explain something. But definitely, it was a big leap in my my own journey once I figured out that the brain is a completely separate thing to the mind. The brain is restricted, the mind is limitless. So once I learned that, so most definitely now you've explained it that way. So for me, I had to, when I'm working on my trance or trying to better my trance work, I have to take myself away. You know, it's like, and you know that may be in a room or in a pool of water, whatever it'll be. I can take myself away, so I'm setting myself aside to sit and then not worry about it, not analyze, not think, just let it get on with it. Therefore, it's travelled to then let the filter of that shut down. And what you're trying to do, certainly that's much more. Well, it's actually not. Actually, that's a lie. It's very much used in trance and mental mediumship. And what we're trying to do is trying to shut down our logic. Got an itchy eye. Trying to shut down our logic and our judgment. And that was something that also come up in class today. And it's very hard for people to accept that if I have a lady turn up in 10 minutes for a reading and my front door goes, and that lady walks in and she sits down, she seems a lovely lady and you know, and everything about her is very proper and very nice. And I offer her a cup of tea. I say, do you want a cup of tea before the reading starts? Let's make our way into the area where I'll conduct this reading. And everything about her is absolutely lovely. You know, she's well spoken, she's well turned out, and she's being very polite. And then I connect to the spirit world, and I connect to her son, say, that's committed suicide. But he committed suicide because he got caught with child pornography on his laptop, or some sort of acts against a child. It's very difficult to shut your mind off that level of judgment. Very difficult to shut that off because I'm a dad and I've got children myself, and that ain't on. I don't like this man, and I don't want to communicate for you. I don't want to give you the voice. I don't want to do that. It's very Charlie, very very human. However, the lady in front of me is a mum, and she's lost her son. And whatever the reasons are, whatever her journey is, whatever his journey is, she's still a mum, and she's still lost her son, and she's entitled to that voice of her son. And that's a difficult process for people to get around. Now, granted, that's an extreme account of things, an extreme account, but one that you definitely have to look at, one that you definitely have to be mindful of, because it will definitely one day, through your development as a medium, will come into play. It will definitely be there at some point. And how will you react? How will you respond to that? anything other than giving that man his voice to the mum that is there to hear from her son is judgmental. That sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But you are being judgmental. One of the fundamental aspects of being spiritual is to not be judgmental. That's very, very difficult to get your mind in the right place. And so logic and judgment are have to be silenced in some way. So so flying all the way back to Sophie's original question, I do agree that the mind has to expand and it has to travel to do that. So it looks like my screen has froze, which is an absolute nightmare. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So, oh, you look like you're all back. So technical difficulties there. I don't know what happened there. But I saw someone else posting earlier that they had a bit of a problem with live streaming today. So let's hope it's back and it's okay. If one of you can just let me know everything's all good, and you can still hear me and you can still see me, that'll be very much appreciated. Ray has just joined. Ray is in the house, people. Ray is in the house. So yeah, so I hope that answers you, Sophie. Slightly digress there, but let's have a look. So I'll see you in a minute, Ray. So give me a moment. So Carol's asking, after some of the ridiculous stories I heard today, can you explain why a medium tells a client their loved ones will not come and communicate with them? It seems this is unfortunately happening a lot. I've heard, I was in the same room as you today, so I heard some of them. I need another drink. I'm really, really sorry. Let me just give me a quick moment while I mute you so you don't hear me gurgling away. I need to turn the mic back on, don't I? And so after some of the ridiculous stories, so I heard stories today where mediums can't communicate because the people are busy. They've come all the way from the spirit world, and I can see them. I can see them there, but they don't want to talk to me. Ridiculous. And what we how does Carol ask that? After some of the ridiculous stories, can you explain why a medium tells a client their loved ones will not come and communicate? For me, it's the medium at fault there. The medium is uneducated, not professional enough, not able enough, don't understand it enough. If they are telling clients that you cannot communicate with a loved one, and especially if they've turned up, and they won't talk to you. Everything within the act of mediumship is of evidence. If someone's got their back to you and they won't turn round, and that you've got a mother that's communicating with her daughter in front of you, and the medium says, "Oh, she won't turn round. I can't talk to her." She won't turn around and talk to me. I don't know why. It is beyond ridiculous for me. I think it's one of those things that she's probably trying to tell you that mum turned her back on her child earlier on in her life, and this is actually part of her evidence. But once the evidence has been relayed to the client, then the communicator will of course turn round. The communicator will of course start communicating. I cannot comprehend the idea of someone coming from another world, the spirit world, and blending with the medium's mind and then not saying anything. It seems ridiculous to me. It just doesn't make sense with what's going on. So I would maybe look for another medium. I would maybe look into the quality of that medium and see You know, what are they about? Where was their development? What will, you know, what are their credentials as a medium? Because that's just, for me, ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Um, I totally believe, and there are many videos now on my channel, that explain the intelligence of the spirit world, and explain communications to order, and explain why mediums can't connect to certain communicators or communications. There's many videos there, which seems like a great point to say. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button and the notification bell to be informed of upcoming videos. And also, if you can, with a pretty please, let your friends know about it. Maybe post it on your Facebook, or share the link at the end of the video. Don't do this now, but maybe share it across your social media platforms. Maybe just say in the groups that you're with, there's this crazy guy, or this nutter, or this guy. I quite like him. He seems to know what he's talking about in some way. Maybe put a few words with it and guide a few people towards the channel. That would be much appreciated from me. So Selena says, deja vu, is that our spirit guides warning us? Example, a near accident. Hope that makes sense. For me, that wouldn't be a deja vu. So, again, I'm human, but the mechanic that you're talking about seems plausible. You know, there's just something about, I know I need to move lane here. I know I need to move lane, and you're aware enough that I need to move lane, or I need to turn left here, not right, or I need to avoid that area. And then you have a very near miss, and fortunately for you, you stay alive, and just as well you followed your intuition. Then for me, that's exactly what it is. It's the intuition. Is that a spirit guide? I can't confirm that. Is it part of your spirit team? I can't confirm that. However, you are a spirit having a human experience. And so your spirit would most definitely be kind of guide you, or trying to instruct you to maybe do this or maybe not do that as a guidance. And that is known as intuition, and a knowing of some sort from within. So deja vu, to my understanding, is an event that I have already lived. I have already walked. I already know this exact scenario. And so for a deja vu to be in the example of an accident would mean you've already had an accident, and you find yourself in another accident, and therefore then it would be deja vu. But your question makes sense, and I hope I answered both. Brilliant answer from Rachel. That's very kind of you, Rachel. Thank you. Sorry, phone rang. We'll watch back your answer. Why did you answer it? You shouldn't have answered it. You're on the live feed. It should all be on. It should be on mute. It should be on silent. I should maybe remind everyone that your phone should now be on silent or turn off for the duration of the live feed. And now we find ourselves at Ray's part input. I bet you got well excited, mate. I bet you're well happy to be back in back in the chat there. So I'm glad to see that you made it. And that you've just got home. So I hope your nephew had a wonderful birthday, and that you are that you enjoyed it. Anyway, so is there a particular time of day that you find the energy clearer, or is it down solely to how you are feeling in yourself at the time? I'm not entirely happy with the quality that I can see on not Facebook, on YouTube there. So the links today are a little bit bad, so I will look into upping that quality in some way. My apologies. But the energy for a particular part of the day is definitely down to how you're feeling in yourself, mate. That is 100% definitely down to you. So I am someone that I absolutely hate working early morning. And it's just maybe my head's a little bit groggy, or maybe I didn't sleep so well, or I had a really busy day the night before and I'm still a little bit tired, and I ain't really quite got myself up and running. I tend not to like working around those times. Now don't get me wrong. It's not that I can't work during that time. It's just out of choice, I would choose to maybe work later in the day. And if you look at my kind of diary and the way that I kind of work, I do a lot of church demonstrations or centre demonstrations, which is all late evening, 6:30 onwards, 7:30 onwards, 8 o'clock onwards. So it's gave me the day to get myself up and running. So it's definitely how the medium is feeling at the time. The energy is universal, day and night, night and day, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. These are signalled by the sun and the moon, and the time itself is man-made, isn't it? It's a measure of where we are. So the energy is accessible at all times, with no inefficiency anywhere within that. There. So not allowed the link there. Okay, that's probably my settings to not allow that link there. So Rachel Helen, maybe grab a pen and I can tell you this, or you can watch it back on feedback. So it's www.ershamstar, ERSHAMSTAR.co.uk, and then just go to the course section and have a look at the courses that you want there, so you can have a look. Where are we? So Ray got back to Selena. Just went off, but back fine now. Okay, I assume that's the link that you went, and the link is running good now. Cool. And you understand now. That's good. Was your daughter, your grandson's unwell? Brilliant. So that's maybe the third time today I've dropped myself right in it. In that sense, my apologies. I don't want to hear that your grandson's unwell, and of course you definitely need to leave your phone on to make sure that your grandson is okay. I done that today with a student, Kerry. I don't think she's in here now, but Kerry, I was asking about her passion, and she said that she loved horses and that she used to do it every day. But now she no longer does it during the day. And I went, why don't you? Why don't you do it anymore during the day? And she went, because my horse is dead. And I was like, oh, brilliant. Now I feel awful. And I just encountered that same feeling there when Selena said her grandson's unwell after telling her off for leaving the live feed. So it happens. I will make up for what I have missed on our live feed at the end of the month, mate. I'm sure you will, and maybe... Kerry's still here. I'm sure you will, Ray. But maybe everyone will beat you to asking your questions like they did on the last one. And if you didn't quite detect it, that was a nice, healthy slice of sarcasm there for you, Ray. Cool. So, no worries, but thank you. Yeah, and Kerry's now laughing about the horse comment, so I felt awful actually. It was funny. I'm glad you all find that amusing. But I've done that a million times. Is that a challenge? It's always a challenge, mate. Always. I love setting challenges. They're usually for myself, but I will set you up a big challenge. And if everyone is available, I don't know the date. I don't know the date of the guest live feed with Ray. I think it's somewhere near the end of the month, maybe the 30th or something like that. I'm not too sure. It is posted, so if one of you jump on and have a quick look and then let me know in the comments. I don't get to see the questions beforehand. Ray treats them very preciously. It's all folded up and locked away, and he don't let me see it, and he gives me no pre-warning. And I think he likes to see my ability or my reaction to when I answer the question to see if I have the answer. So he's looking to trip me up in some way, which is rather amusing for him. There you go. So April the 30th at 8 p.m. And I'll schedule that one on the channel. So if you are subscribed and you have hit that bell, you will be notified of that guest appearance from my buddy Ray, where you can ask him the questions. So I'm not seeing any more questions there. Have you all run out of questions? Are you lot struggling for questions? Yeah, I think I've covered everything there at the moment. So if you've got any more questions, we can start to head this in. I don't want to shoot off just yet because Ray's just got there and I'll feel absolutely awful for it. So if you have a question, Ray, now's the time to plug it in there, and I can get that answered for you. And while I'm waiting for you lot, all you developing mediums to ask a question, which I don't believe for a moment you have all the answers to, so there must be a million questions you could ask me. I will quickly run through the plugs very quickly again. Colchester, Dem, April 19th. You can buy the tickets on Facebook or you can get them via Eventbrite. We got the trance workshop. So Rachel, I know you've been asking a lot about trance. There is a workshop here in Harlow on June the 23rd and 24th. Both days are recommended, and there is only a couple of spaces left for that. So if you are interested, you need to inbox me on that. And if any of you other guys are interested, make sure you inbox me here. Although there's not an inbox here, it'd have to be on chat or preferably through Facebook page. You'll be able to do that. Then a mediumship workshop, mental mediumship, on July the 21st, which is the next one in Harlow. And then the mentorship, which I am definitely going to run because it has nearly sold out now, for 2019. And all details can be obtained for the mentorship on inquiry via the Facebook page, Medium Charlie Kelly. When are you doing another one in Harlow again? The likelihood of that, Selena, is going to be minimal. It was a lot of legwork to get Harlow sorted out. Everyone was screaming for a Harlow Dem. Do Harlow, please come and work in Harlow. Please do this in Harlow. Please, please, please. And so I deliberately set that one up in Harlow because everyone was calling for it. And then I had an absolute nightmare trying to sort it out and get people to sort of get their ticket or certainly secure their place. So it was an absolute nightmare. So it wasn't the... I'm going to leave Harlow alone for a little while for the time being. Certainly from my own private functions. I know that there will be 1 or 2 charity events coming up in the next couple of years that I'll be doing in Harlow. So again, you would just have to monitor the Medium page on Facebook, where upcoming events will be there, and you can see where I am locally. And then and of course there's one in Stevenage, which Carol's just posted up there for me, on June the 1st, which is just down the road. I mean, that's not too far. I don't think Colchester's too far, but it's where and how far you're prepared to travel to do that. From there, I can see you lot are having a little conversation there, so I'll let you crack on with that conversation because you're sorting it out amongst you. Will our pets be there in spirit? Most definitely. Do you know what? I'm really annoyed that Rachel, if you'd have asked your question just before Kerry put nay, that would have been well funny. That would have been comedy genius unfolding in itself there. Where do the pets go there? Of course the pets go there. because they are spirit. There's something that's always stuck with me that I got from reading Silver Birch, and where there is life, there is spirit, and where there is spirit, there is life. And that just seems to resonate with me. I absolutely love that quote from Silver Birch. And that just simply signifies that wherever spirit is, whether it be in an animal or whether it be in a human, it's still spirit. Spirit, in essence, is spirit. And so for that very reason, that very simplistic way of looking at it, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind that the pets go to where the love is, in its essence, back to the spirit world. If you have a love connection with an animal, you know, we all love domesticated pets such as cats and dogs, as an example. Even horses, I'm sure. Kerry loved her horse. I mean, she was talking about how she went to visit it every day. Our cats, our dogs, we feed and walk the dog, don't we? We bath it, we play. There's a love bond there, and so of course it would be a it would be a very easy idea to accept that the animals, because they're spirit, go back to the spirit world. So that's that conversation. Yep. Okay. So sorry, I've just got to move this down. It's when you have finally met your first guide stroke team member, how long is it usually before you discover others, or do some only have one? It's a great question, Ray. I know you have asked that question, but for the people that are watching the video, because I know, through that, your knowledge and understanding is of a different format there. So, when you have finally met your first guide or your team member, how long is it usually before you discover others, or do some only have one? So some people can only accept one. They only choose to have that communication with their guide through one. And I know many mediums that work only with one influence there. However, I am someone that works with a team of people, and for that function, you know, whether it be communication or whether it be trance or whether it be healing, or whether it be talking, I have different guides for different requirements. You know, whatever is needed, my spirit team fulfill in the role that they have there, and that role can be limitless, I would imagine, because of the qualities that the individual or the expertise in that field would go from in that way, if that makes sense. So some of us have one, some of us have a team, and that would be the relationship that you develop with the spirit world, and that process, that speed can be very quick, or it can be many years later. So it's one of those scenarios that it's unique to you, and something that will grow at a pace that you will allow it to grow at. For me, it was very quick. I was aware of three people. They tend to be the predominant three. However, I am aware that there are times when there feels like there's new, or I see new aspects or facets to my spirit team. So, a very mixed answer, but one that I feel I've covered. I think I've covered. And now you sound like you're back in court there, Ray. No more further questions, Your Honour. It's you're hanging your questions up straight away. So, you sound like spirit, please. So Carol obviously thought that you sounded the same there. Rachel, yeah, I love my dog, and he's an old boy, so I want to see him again after he's gone. And most definitely, you will most definitely see him again. No, you'll most definitely see him again. I don't know what's happened there. Let's what's happened there? Is it coming back? Is it coming back? No one knows if it's coming back. I don't know if you can hear me, people. Can people hear me? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here then. So yeah, okay, cool. Mine's crashed. Mine's completely gone down. So lucky for me, I put the live chat on a streaming system, and I can sort of go through it. But I will have to have a look at what's going on now. Cool. So yeah, so you will be able to see your dog again. So it totally threw me. I didn't know what was going on, and my whole system seems to have crashed, but you guys seem to still be there, so that's a good thing. So Spooky Chris 01 says, welcome to the evening there, Spooky Chris, as well. Domestic pets go somewhere different to wild animals, but they do go somewhere special. And I quite imagine that's the case. Because domestic is they're domesticated, and they build a love bond, like Rachel says there, that she loves her old dog, and so there's a different aspect there with that. So it makes sense that the wild would go to the wild part, and the love connection with a domesticated pet. That can sit quite freely in my philosophy there, and I'm comfortable that. I'm kind of on the same page with you there, Spooky Chris. So seems very feasible for me. So it's all still running. That's good. So you lot must have copped it when I shouted into that mic there. My apologies. My apologies for that. So so is there any more questions? I can't see any more there at the moment. So yeah, as I said, I did say I would cover it. While you form a question, I won't be too much longer. I was just looking at the time there to see how I'm getting on. My recent trip to Lecco, so Lake Como, I flew out there on Bank Holiday Monday, and the airport, my God, Stansted is getting an absolute joke at the moment. But I got out there relatively stress-free, as stress-free as it can be. Made my way to Lecco, where I had about 15 minutes stopgap before my first client. Straight into back-to-back sittings for the remainder of the evening. For the rest of the day. And then the following day, I climbed a mountain. I was going to do a live feed from the top of the mountain. But on the way up, I hurt my back and I blew my knee out. I thought I'd done ligament damage on the climb. But lucky for me, I haven't. They're still a little bit sore and I'm still a little bit achy even now. And we're at Saturday now. I got back in late Thursday. Yeah, late Thursday. So it was back-to-back sittings throughout all the days, and then I ran a quick class out there as well, and then flew home. It was one that we tried to squeeze into the diary. We got it in, and then worked non-stop while we was over there. And then there was a funny's the wrong word. So there was a mechanical reading, which I can't discuss because it's someone's reading. However, it was I had a sitter who was sitting in front of me for a reading for someone that was unable to sit in front of me via the communication of their loved one. And so it's like by proxy. It's like a sitting by proxy. And mechanically it was it was a little bit difficult to get my mind around at first, but fully recorded, obviously, as I record all my sittings. Um, and very successful. That I tried, so I'm going to try and implement proxy sit-ins in some way to test the mediums that I'm developing. So to my class, watch this space, because the idea is certainly flowing around in my mind at the moment, to see what's going on there. So it's still running, all good. So, and thank you for your well wishes, people. So it looks like you're all dried up out of questions. I'll give you one more minute, maybe have a look, see if any more come in, and then I will make my way offline and start editing the next 3 videos that need to go up Monday, Wednesday, Friday of next week. I try to leave as much editing out and try and make it as natural as possible. So again, I need your help. I really need your help to get it. I want an organic kind of following. I don't want one that subscribes to the channel and they're not really watching or gaining anything from it. So I want an organic following there. So your friends and the people that are in development, it would be really kind of you to maybe guide them towards the channel, get them to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. It's free of charge. There's absolutely no charge there for you guys. It's just to inform you that I'm uploading, etc. As I want to grow this and keep educating in the way that I like to educate. It's one of those things, I suppose, isn't it? I see a lot of scare stories on YouTube and on Google, and there was many spoke about today in class on the foundations that they have learned, and so I just want to balance that out a little bit with a little bit of knowledge and understanding that I acquire from being on the public forum and the public platforms 3 times a week in churches and centres around the country, around Europe, and bring back my experience and bring back my findings and my understanding and offer it to YouTube. So a shout out from you guys would be absolutely fantastic, and a share or guiding them towards the channel would be very, very much appreciated. So what's that? Funny when people say to healers, "Why don't you heal yourself?" If only it worked like that. Just dropping that in there. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure in one context that the medium is the medium, and the medium is passing on the spiritual energy of healing, the gift of healing from the spirit world to a or said recipient. When we're trying to do it for ourselves, the dilution kicks into the mind and stops us from maybe allowing it. Some of us maybe don't seem worthy. We kind of don't. We forget to ask for ourselves or look for ourselves. So it's understandable why some people can't shut down that filter of mind that does that. So if only it worked as easy as that. So again, thank you for your input there, Chris, or Spooky Chris. Much appreciated. You look tired. I will do. I had a few hours sleep last night. I then had a workshop today that ran all day. I quickly shot back. Had to do a couple of chores, set this equipment up, and what you don't see is the setting of the mics and the setting of the lights. And this is like, you got soft boxes going on there, cameras, laptops, recording equipment, setting up the live streaming feeds that you can see on screen, and I've put the streaming ticker bars and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of work, so and to squeeze it in an hour can be very, very stressful
after a workshop. But I absolutely love helping you lot. I love helping the spirit world in the sense of giving them a voice. I love educating. I love working mediumistically. I love it all. And so, no matter how tired I am or what excuses come up, you'll always find me on the end of a live stream that holds value. I'm not sitting here doing cold readings or anything like that. It's of value. And I enjoy it really, in that sense, growing a community as such, and you lot are part of that community. So don't you worry, I will switch this off, I will shut the laptop, and I will pour myself a nice glass of XO cognac. I think I've earned this one today. Um, and I'll have that over a handful of ice cubes and put my feet up and take a deep breath, I think. So what's Ray? Okay. So Ray says, do your team argue with you if they think you're not correctly voicing evidence, and have you ever evicted one of them, so to speak? It's a great question. I argue with my spirit team um, all the time. But the arguing's from me, mate. It's never from them. They love me so much, and they nurture me, and they help me grow and understand, and they always encourage me. The love that I feel from them is second to absolutely none. And equally, the love I give back to them is, it's just, I can't measure it. I don't know anything like it. So I absolutely adore them, and they certainly make me feel. They certainly make me feel um, wanted and looked after as a voice for them. Have I ever evicted one in a hissy fit? It's like, that's it, I give up. This is too hard. I can't be doing it anymore. I keep beating myself up. I'm rubbish at this. I can't do this. Rah, rah, rah. I ain't doing it anymore. Go away. And you have a hissy fit, and then you break down, and you're like, I'm so sorry. Please come back. I didn't mean it. I really didn't mean it. And then they're immediately there again, picking up the pieces from your little diva moment. But it's everyone goes through it, and it's just part of development, really. So Frank is in the house tonight as well. So Frank is a student that I teach from Holland. He's a little over 7 foot in height. The man is an absolute giant. But he's one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. I really, really like and have a lot of time for my buddy Frank. Hopefully, at some point, if what I'll do is I'll take a picture with Frank the next time I'm with him, to make you show how much of a how small I am compared to him. The guy is enormous, but so's his heart. His heart is just as big. He is a really nice guy. If I get the chance, Royston could be on my list soon. Um, so what's that, Spooky Chris? Is that what you'll be working it, or you'll be them in there? Is that what you mean, or I don't understand? I don't understand. So sorry. I know it's me. I know it's not you. I know that made sense to you there, but um, I'm not sure what you mean. But Kerry stuck around after all. Do you think diet affects your energy? Diet affects energy on a normal level, doesn't it? Because you're changing the fuel that the body has. So it will definitely affect your energy. However, there are beneficial diets, isn't there? So you get people that, if you work on yourself with PTs, I know a couple of PTs and personal trainers, and they're right into the nutrition. So if you're doing the nutrition kind of diet, and it's about getting the right stuff inside you, it should actually benefit your energy, shouldn't it? Because you're nutritionally balanced, you're eating healthily, you're probably in some form of training or exercise, which will do your being the world of good. I think it does affect your energy, but for the better. However, if you are completely starving yourself because you want to lose another inch or go from a size 12 to a size 10, then in my own opinion, I wouldn't really worry about it. You know, I know it's about self-confidence, etc., but what's up with you being a size 12? I mean, you know, people love you for you, don't they? Not for your waist size. So, um, make sure you're doing the diet for the right reason, yeah? Personally, I'd say 100%. It does affect your energy, especially with nature and nature spirit. Yeah, definitely. I think I've just done that, mate. I think I've just um, emphasised that there. Love the way you explain everything so down to earth, and that's it's the way I have to understand it. There was something Einstein said that if you can't explain something simply, then you don't understand it enough. And that stuck with me, man. That really, really stuck with me. And I think people make this a lot harder than it is. You will always hear me saying mediumship is easy. Everything is just so easy. It comes so freely. It's so natural. The difficulty is the rituals that the human in operation puts there. So I think it has to be down to earth. I think it has to be simple because it is very, very simple. Um, I do drink Coke. Quick sugar fix, isn't it? Um, it's one of those. It's bad for me. I know Red Bull is bad for me, but it's a quick fix. That's something that I won't get away with forever. So, but yeah. Plus, I like a can of Coke and I like a Red Bull. It's one of those, isn't it? It's I avoid it for all my life because it's not so good for me. Then I'm gonna live quite a boring life, really, and I'm here to enjoy it, and so on and so forth. So we've done quite a while, haven't we? I don't know how long we've been streaming for. How long's that? An hour and 57, but I kicked it up quarter of an hour early to get the stream stable. So we'll round this up, and I've gave you all a shout out, and I really, honestly, I really mean it. I really love the fact that you've given up your Saturday evening to come and join me here on YouTube and on my channel. I really, really do appreciate it, and I love to see you thinking and asking your questions, and I like trying to give a little bit of guidance there. So, and if we enjoy it, then there's going to be other people that enjoy it. So I really, really do need your help to get it out there without spending thousands of pounds on PR and get all a non-organic audience. So I want to keep it real. You all develop with developing friends, and maybe get them on here to help me out. So Ray said, get some rest, mate. Your energy is just as important as ours. Good night. Thank you very much, Ray. Thank you, everyone. Only because I've heard drink water and stay away from caffeine. Well, caffeine does me no damage, really. Granted, I'm probably immune to it now. I do drink a lot of water. If you've watched me dem, I'll do 2 jugs of water during a dem, just because of the fuel aspect there. So, thanks for a fab day, Charlie. Learning on the course, appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on that course, and I absolutely love teaching. It keeps me in my element, so it's been a great day. I've really enjoyed today. Take it easy, Chris. Thank you for a brilliant live. Yet again, thank you for answering our questions. No problem. Just keep the questions coming, and I can keep answering them. And as always, you can stick it in the Facebook Medium page, where questions can be sent to, and I'll print them out, and I'll bring them to a live feed and read them out anonymously if you're a little bit frightened of getting involved. However, YouTube algorithm loves the fact that you engage. So if you can, I would rather you present them during the live feed. So time to wrap it up. I'll let you share the video in a moment once it's uploaded. If you can put that on your social media platforms. I ask you once again to click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Let everyone know about it, and I will see you on Monday with my next upload. Let me know your views and your thoughts in the comment box on that upload, then Wednesday, then Friday, and we'll have a little look to see where we can squeeze another live feed in, maybe before, because I will be flying out to Geneva during the week. Hopefully I'll give you a quick update while I'm out there also. So look after yourself, everyone, and I will see you next time. Ciao.